What's going on, everyone? This is Vince with VShred.com, and if you are looking for a couple of new exercises that you can try out to help you build your rear delts, today I'm going to show you 5 of my absolute favorite.
I'ma keep on going up till the lights go down.
All right, like I said, in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you 5 different rear delt exercises. And one thing that happens with people's shoulders, and this is one of the reasons why it's so important to train rear delts, is they end up doing a lot of pressing movements. That's all going to work the front side of your shoulder, which makes it even more important to work the back side of your shoulder so that you don't get that shoulder hunch forward, and you're able to have that nice posture. You're able to have that big open chest, and you're able to not really have any back pain or shoulder pain from neglecting the backside. But before I get into them really quickly, there's also certain ways that you should be going about getting in shape. If you're trying to lose as much weight as possible, you need to be following a specific plan versus somebody who's trying to lose just a little bit of weight but lean up, or someone who's trying to, say, bulk. They all need their own different little plans. And if you're following some one-size-fits-all plan right now and it's not working for you, I have a free body type quiz that will work for you. Basically, you just answer a couple of questions about yourself and it spits out a video that tells you what type of training and what type of dieting is going to be best. Also, it's a macro calculator, so you can get your macros calculated for you. But I'll throw a link to that down in the description below if you want to check that out. But getting into these exercises now, I'm gonna start with a basic one because it's probably one of the ones that I see done the most and also done wrong the most. And there's one main thing that I see done wrong when I see people doing this. And so what I'm talking about is a bent over dumbbell reverse fly. When you're doing reverse flies, or especially when you're trying to target your rear delt is such a small muscle group that you have to be strict with your form in order to target it. We got to make sure that we're strict. So when you're going into a dumbbell reverse fly like this, and you got 30-pound dumbbells, what's going to end up happening is you're going to look like this. You're throwing it with momentum. And also, if you notice, as I throw this weight back, I'm also shrugging a little bit. I want to make sure that I'm avoiding this shrug right there, because when you're shrugging, you're not hitting your rear delt. When you're shrugging, you're hitting your traps and your rhomboids. So if we take that part out of it, if we remove our ego from the equation, we grab some 10-pound dumbbells. And so first thing I have my palms facing down. Another thing when it comes to rear delts is you want to make sure that you're keeping your arms as wide as possible. The further back you get your elbows, the more you're going to be hitting your lats. So you don't want to do this. You want to get those elbows out wide and make sure that you're staying wide with it. One thing that I try to think of is going out and then up. Out and then up. I'm not just picking this weight up. So what it should look like, getting into a nice strong position. And once you're in this position, don't move at all. So you're locking yourself here, and then from there, you're taking your elbows, you're throwing them out wide, squeezing up and back down. Out wide, squeezing up and back down. And you're still going to get some trap and rhomboid activation no matter how you do a rear delt fly. But you can minimize the activation of those muscles and try to maximize the activation of your rear delts, and you're gonna get more from the exercise. So stop going super heavy, stop using momentum, and let's move into exercise number 2. All right, so for the second exercise, we're gonna step over to the Pec Deck machine, and we're gonna be doing just some simple Pec Deck reverse flies. It's very basic, it's very common, but it's very effective when you do it right. And so when you're doing it wrong, usually what happens is it looks something like this. You got someone who's starting super forward, and then as they come back and they're trying to throw this weight back as far as they can. And so instead of doing that, what you should do is just lock your shoulders into place. So when I get up into a rear delt fly like this, the first thing I'm doing is I'm getting into position. I'm making sure that my shoulders or my elbows are up. So like my arm is parallel with the ground. Again, we're trying to keep it up as possible. And then from there, I'm locking my shoulders into place. So if my shoulders are right here at the beginning, I want them right there at the end. I'm not rolling them forward and then rolling them back, rolling them forward. I'm keeping them in the same spot, keeping nice controlled form. And again, the first thing that I'm thinking about when I start the movement is out and then back. And you do try to get your elbows as far back as you can, but don't sacrifice form to go even further, Don't shrug back to go even further. What you want to do is keep your shoulders in that same spot and go back as far as you can with your shoulders in that spot. So, but that's exercise number 2. Now let's move into number 3, one that's not so common. All right, so the third exercise that we have is a cable double arm reverse fly. And so the only thing you need is to make sure that this cable, this pulley height is the exact height of your shoulders. So again, we're trying to avoid our elbows coming down, because the more our elbows come down and we pull across, that's how we get that lat activation. We're trying to get the activation of those shoulders up there. So the higher we can get up there, the more we're gonna hit shoulders. So this is one that you definitely wanna make sure that you're avoiding what I've been talking about with the shrugging of your middle back muscles, so your rhomboids, your traps. And so instead of squeezing this weight back and going like that, you really wanna make sure that you're keeping your shoulders locked into place and just going straight across. And so keeping that in mind when doing this exercise, this one's all about form. Again, you don't really need to load up your rear delts that much. They're not a big muscle group. And so when you're getting set up into this, I like to have the pulleys a little in front of me. So like maybe a foot in front of me. That way I'm pulling outward and I'm also having to pull a little bit back. But then I'm making sure that wherever my shoulders are, I'm locking them into place. So this right here is where my shoulders will stay. And so I'm not really rolling them forward and then pulling back, keeping them locked into place. This is gonna be your starting position. From there, really gonna focus on going wide, so you're not pulling back, you're going out, and you're trying to just basically get your upper arm so that it's parallel with your back. So starting position, squeeze it out, hold it for a second, and return back slowly. So none of this, don't go to the gym and start doing this. This. Breathe through it. And this is all about time under tension, form, and controlling the weight. So this is another one of my favorites. Great one. Try this out if you haven't yet, but also don't annoy people at your gym. If your gym's super busy, don't take up 2 cables. But then let's get into the 4th exercise now. This is my favorite rear delt exercise. So we have a face pull. So face pulls, I think, are a pretty common rear delt exercise. I see face pulls being done a lot, but like most exercises, I see them being done wrong a lot. And so there's one thing that I keep in mind when I'm doing face pulls. So let me do one real quickly and just show you what this looks like. So I like using rope. You can also use 2 handles if you want. There's a bunch of different ways that you can hold this. It all comes down to what feels most comfortable for you and what you feel the most rear delt engagement with. So if you're using the rope, when you grab it, don't grab it with your thumbs up. Grab it with your thumbs down and then turn it towards your face, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing, so let me just get into this exercise and show you a couple of these. So face pull, you're looking like this. So I like to have that pulley up high. I'm also, so that way I'm pulling down and back. And so I'm really focusing on pulling this towards my forehead, getting my elbows wide, and I'm trying to minimize my bicep activation. So this is a face pull. Now, the number one thing that I'm thinking about when I'm grabbing this is I'm focusing on what my elbows are doing. I'm focusing on my elbows going out and wide. So there's a big difference between squeezing it back like that and squeezing it back like that. A lot of bicep activation right there. Rear delt activation right there. So that's a small difference, but it's a huge difference. And this will be the difference between you feeling it right here and standing up and feeling that burn and getting a nice pump and being sore the next day and muscle development, or just doing the same exercise time after time with no results. So try that right, focus on your elbows going wide, and now let's get into the 5th and final exercise. All right, so for the 5th and final exercise, this exercise is going to be a side lying rear delt fly, and it's single arm. So this is unilateral. What this looks like is basically I like to get to the edge of the bench, get this dumbbell, and then from there, I'm going palm down. So whichever way I'm laying, my palm is down, my thumb is in. Basically, this weight is pulling at a sideways angle for you now, therefore enabling you to hit your rear delt better. So starting right below parallel, this is my starting position. From there, I'm going to really focus on keeping my shoulder in the same position. I'm not rolling it forward and then pulling it back. I'm going from there, out wide, and then up. And I'm just going just before I get my arm perpendicular to the ground. So I'm not going here, because if I go here, I can just, I mean, this is just me holding a weight up. I can hold this forever. It's like a cheated rest. And so starting position's here, end position is just before perpendicular to the ground, dropping it back down slowly, keeping your chest out nice and tall, keeping your shoulder locked into place, nice controlled form. Breathing through it. And again, you're going to be going light here. This is a tough exercise. Even 10 pounds at the end of a shoulder workout will be tough here. But for all these exercises, by the way, I get a lot of you people asking like rep ranges. I kind of mentioned it a second ago, but when I'm going smaller muscle groups like rear delts, and I've really gotten my shoulders to grow a lot lately, and that's due to going light with my accessories. Lighter, that usually means 12 to 15 reps with controlled form. And so the entire set is like 40 to 60 seconds. And then a minute and a half rest. And that's gonna be a great workout, maybe 4 sets of that. But that's all for today, guys. Again, 5 of my favorite rear delt exercises that have really helped me get that rear delt development that I've always wanted. Try these out, let us know how you like it. If you enjoyed this video, if you like these types of videos, make sure that you're smashing that thumbs up button below. You're also subscribing to the channel if you're not yet a subscriber. We're getting a ton of views from people who aren't subscribed, and so what that means is you're just missing out on a bunch of content. So subscribe and don't miss out on content. But that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next one.